One of the most important things historians do is make sense of what happened in the past. One way to do that is to look for the themes, the ideas, the big questions, the stuff that seems to come up again and again. Things in history don't happen exactly the same way every time, nothing ever does. But big ideas help us make sense of the details. One way to look at the big issues of American history is through the lens of 4 sets of competing values that can come into conflict with each other. These conflicts are not good versus evil or liberal versus conservative. These tensions are more complicated than that and more important. The problem is when we believe in 2 things that conflict with each other. The debates we have about what we believe in are essential to understanding the history of the United States, and they are essential to the continuation of our democratic society. On both sides of each one of these value tensions, there is value, something that Americans say is important to them. But what happens when 2 important things come into conflict? That's the tension. The 4 tensions are freedom versus equality, unity versus diversity, commonwealth versus private wealth, and law versus ethics. All 8 of these ideals are important concepts, ideas that define America in some way. When asked, Americans say that freedom is essential to who we are, and they say the same thing about equality. But what happens when my freedom to do whatever I want comes into conflict with your equal rights to do whatever you want? How does equality work with freedom? Not against it. On the Great Seal of the United States, we find the motto, E pluribus unum, from many, one. The idea of this country being one unified entity coming from many people of diverse backgrounds is not new. Congress added it to the Great Seal in 1782, but it's not easy, and much of our history is the story of the tension between that unity and that diversity. The Commonwealth, the success of all people, the ability of the society and the government to function, to provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and to provide for us and our posterity, requires that we give up some private wealth. The best example of this is, of course, taxes. But there are many other examples, and they're not all about money. The good of the many and the good of the one do come into conflict, almost all the time. America is a nation of law. We wrote our Constitution down, calling it the supreme law of the land. So what do? What happens in our history when law and ethics collide? One thing that has happened in the past is positive change. People helping runaway slaves were breaking the law, but they were living up to their own standard of ethics. The Founding Fathers broke the law when they passed the Declaration of Independence. We hold them up as heroes. So who is to say when a law is wrong? Abraham Lincoln reminds us that is the point of government, of the people, by the people, for the people, right? But which people, and how, and when? The values here and the tensions they create underlie almost all the important events in American history. We can see ourselves, our past, our present, and sometimes even our future through this lens. The important thing is that we remember that the history and the future of America depend on us continuing these debates. All of these values are important, and the job of citizens in a democracy is to be educated, debate, discuss, and move forward knowing that no single value should ever win at the expense of the others. Maybe we need a fictional president to tell us what America is all about.
America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You've got to want it bad, because it's going to put up a fight. It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as the land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now show me that. Defend that. Celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free.